What If? Serious Scientific Answers to Absurd Hypothetical Questions by Munroe is a fun, thought-provoking book that provides scientifically grounded answers to bizarre, imaginative questions. Munroe, a former NASA roboticist and creator of the webcomic XKCD, uses his extensive knowledge of physics, math, and computer science to explore extreme and hypothetical scenarios that range from the whimsical to the catastrophic. Each question is answered with a blend of humor and scientific accuracy, often exploring not just the practical outcomes, but the unintended consequences and bizarre possibilities that arise. The questions in the book are drawn from Munroe's XKCD webcomic followers, who send in wild queries. He tackles each one with a mixture of rigor and wit, frequently consulting research papers, historical data, and scientific models to provide his answers. The result is a collection of outlandish and fascinating thought experiments that challenge the boundaries of what we think we know about the world, exploring the impossible, the nature of hypotheticals. The premise of What If is built on the joy of asking what if about the impossible and then figuring out the answer. The questions Munroe addresses include everything from the cosmic to the personal, such as, what would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped rotating? What if you tried to hit a baseball pitched at 90% the speed of light? How long could a person survive only eating pizza? What would happen if everyone on Earth jumped at the same time? In each case, Munroe begins by taking the question seriously, something most people would not do. He explores the mechanics and science behind the question, often leading to unexpected conclusions. The point is not necessarily about arriving at a definitive answer, but in using these ridiculous questions as a way to explore scientific principles. This makes What If both an entertaining and educational read, where even absurdities are grounded in real science, scientific method, and absurdity. How to answer impossible questions. One of Munroe's strengths lies in his ability to take complex scientific concepts and break them down for a general audience. Each question serves as a mini lesson in fields like physics, astronomy, biology, or engineering. He frequently uses diagrams and illustrations to explain concepts, and his writing is clear and accessible, even when dealing with dense scientific material. For example, in answering what would happen if you pitched a baseball at 90% the speed of light, Munroe explains the physical forces and equations that come into play when dealing with relativistic speeds. The baseball would interact with the air molecules in such a way that it would create a catastrophic explosion, vaporizing everything around it. He doesn't just explain the immediate outcome, he walks through all the related physics, including aerodynamics, energy transfer, and molecular interactions, making the answer much more than a simple "it would explode." Similarly, when asked how long a human could survive on a diet of only pizza, Munroe dives into nutritional science, discussing macronutrients, the importance of variety in diet, and the limits of human biology. He even calculates how much pizza one would need to eat to meet daily caloric and nutrient requirements, showing how fun yet scientific answers can be crafted from simple ideas. Humor and catastrophe, balancing science with fun. A recurring theme in What If is Munroe's ability to balance scientific accuracy with humor. Many of the questions lead to extreme or catastrophic consequences, destruction, death, or the collapse of natural laws, and Munroe's light-hearted tone helps keep these outcomes from being too grim. For instance, in the question about what would happen if everyone on Earth jumped at the same time, Munroe walks through the physics of momentum and energy transfer. While the outcome of everyone jumping would be relatively minor, in terms of the Earth's movement, only a tiny effect on the planet's rotation, he points out that the real disaster would be the logistics of getting everyone back to where they started, something that could cause economic and social upheaval, far worse than any effect on the Earth itself. In another question, a reader asks what would happen if a hairdryer were turned on and placed inside a sealed, airtight room. Munroe takes the opportunity to explain concepts such as thermodynamics and heat exchange, ultimately revealing that the hairdryer would gradually heat the room to a dangerous level, causing serious health problems for anyone trapped inside. Munroe's humorous take on what would start as a seemingly harmless experiment underscores the potential dangers lurking in ordinary scenarios when scientific principles are pushed to extremes. Common themes: the fragility of the world and the power of scale. A recurring theme throughout the book is the fragility of life and the environment. When faced with extreme forces or conditions, in many of the scenarios, small changes or seemingly innocuous actions have far-reaching and often catastrophic consequences. This theme is most evident in questions involving large-scale astronomical or physical forces, such as what would happen if the Earth stopped rotating, or if we drained the oceans. These answers often end in planetary-scale destruction, reminding readers how delicately balanced the natural world is. Another common theme is the power of scale. Munroe frequently plays with extremes of size, speed, or energy, showing how different physical laws or constraints apply, depending on the scale of the scenario. For example, in a question about building a periodic table out of actual elements, Munroe explores how materials that are safe at small scales like carbon or oxygen become hazardous or even explosive at larger quantities. Similarly, questions involving vast distances or timescales, like the speed of light or the age of the universe, provide opportunities to explain the ways in which reality behaves differently at cosmic scales. Illustrations and visual explanations. An important feature of the book is Munroe's use of simple yet informative illustrations. His stick figure drawings and diagrams add humor and clarity to the scientific explanations, making it easier for readers to grasp complex concepts. These visuals are a hallmark of Munroe's style, carrying over from his XKCD work, and they contribute to the book's unique tone, playful yet educational. For example, when discussing the possibility of creating a jetpack using machine guns, Munroe uses diagrams to explain the physics of propulsion, showing how the recoil from firing bullets could theoretically lift a person off the ground. The drawings make the technical details more accessible while adding a layer of absurdity that enhances the humor. Conclusion: science as exploration and play. What If is more than just a collection of absurd questions. It's a celebration of curiosity and the scientific method. Munroe shows that science is not just about solving practical problems, but about exploring possibilities, testing the limits of what we know, and having fun with thought experiments. The book's appeal lies in its ability to blend rigorous scientific analysis with humor, making complex ideas accessible and engaging for readers of all backgrounds. Munroe encourages readers to think outside the box and view the world through the lens of what-if questions, reminding us that even the most outlandish scenarios can teach us something valuable about the laws that govern the universe. The book underscores the joy of exploration, the importance of curiosity, and the role of science in helping us understand the world, no matter how bizarre the question might be.